Hi, my name's Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am breaking down episode 5 of Netflix's Shadow and Bone. Episode 5 is called Show Me Who You Are, and I love the title sequence for this because it starts off with Shadow and Bone, but then burns away into the Lantsov double eagle. The Lantsovs are the rulers of Ravka currently, and a fan favorite that pops up in the sequel to Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, who we will hopefully see in season 2 of this show, is Nikolai Lantsov. So we start out seeing Mal stumble into the first army camp at Chernast, a bullet wound in his shoulder. Inez, Jesper, and the conductor are entering the palace grounds with the traveling performers, and the guard says no knives or weapons of any kind. And look at Inez's face when he says no knives. We see a guy trying to sneak in to see the Sun Summoner, and surprise, Kaz is there dressed as a guard. He and this guy share a look, which tells us that Kaz likely paid this guy to do this as a diversion. Jenya is getting Alina ready for the winter feat using her tailoring powers and gives Alina this really pretty ring. Jenya tells her to be careful of powerful men. We finally get introduced to fabricator David Kostic, and Jenya mentions he's actually the one who created the blue light that they use to cross the fold safely. He gives Alina some gloves to help make it easier for her to split one beam of sunlight into two. He does give her similar gloves in the books, but unlike the books, Alina tells him here that she doesn't need these gloves. We see Jenya being an absolute simp over David, and I'm so excited to finally see that dynamic come to life on screen. Kaz, dressed as a guard, is looking for a way to snatch Alina, but is having trouble without his cane. He realizes there's a hidden room where they're likely to keep Alina and have her change after she does her sun summoning powers at the feet, and we are seeing a fabricator open the room, and inside the room is Marie. Alina begs Zoya to let her go out and see the performers. They go out, and Jesper is there and picks up on who Alina is, so he's able to now identify her. Bedyor shows up and berates them for leaving, but then he says he was just trying to do his best impression of Ivan, and I loved that so much. He said we better go before my better half comes looking, and I didn't realize that it was canon that Ivan and Fedyor were together until this moment, and I love that. Mal tells his supervisor he wants to go deliver the news of the stag to General Kerrigan, and after some convincing, he's allowed to go. The crows discuss how to get into the secret room where Alina will be, since you need a materionic to open the door, and Arkin, the conductor, says that he has a lodestone which will open the door. They agree that Arkin will be the one to snatch Alina, Inej and Kaz will clear a path, and Jesper will find a way to get all of them off of palace grounds. Alina goes to see Kerrigan and tells him that she was nervous about showing her power at the feat, but now feels like she's helping to offer hope for the future to the Grisha and all of Ravka. And then she kisses him. I can hear all of the Darklina stands screaming. Jesper goes to get some horses for their getaway and runs into a stable hand who he ends up having a hookup with. Next, we see Inej doing her performance, and some ambassador makes a remark about the Zemeni being talented, but Zoya walks by correcting her, saying she's Suli. Inej is Suli, she is not Zemeni. Jesper is Zemeni. Zoya is also Suli in the books and in the show, so this, I guess, is a way for them to make that connection for the audience. However, as I said in other videos, many in the Asian community have been uncomfortable with the portrayal of racism in the show, particularly with Zoya being depicted as racist toward Alina for being Shu. So I'll leave some links down below where reviewers in the Asian community have discussed this. Next, we see one of everyone's favorite moments, Fedyor feeding Ivan a dessert. I know Ivan is a dick, but I do love them together. Kaz spills a drink on himself, playing it off as if it was a guest, and Ivan tells him he has to go get a replacement uniform from the laundry, and he gets a palace guard uniform for Inej and the conductor as well. Alina enters the festivities in her new black and gold kefta. These two Inferni, brother and sister, start the festivities, and we get this really cute moment between Jenya and David where they're so clearly into each other, and he smiled at her and I died. Kerrigan summons the shadows, and then Alina shows everyone her power. They are all amazed and start bowing to her and calling her Sancta Alina. And then we see Inej, someone who's very devout in her faith, having a moment, and honestly this made me tear up a little bit. The conductor is able to find the door and open it with his lodestone. The apparat sneaks up out of frickin' nowhere and tells Alina she has no idea how much larger a role she has to play, that people are erecting altars to Sancta Alina, and he tells her that faith is extremely powerful. Meanwhile, Mal arrives at the little palace and talks to Kerrigan. He says he won't tell him where exactly the stag is until he sees Alina. Kerrigan tricks Mal into telling him what Alina's favorite flowers are, the sneaky bastard. A palace guard who overheard Mal say that he found the stag goes and tells Baghra. Baghra says they cannot allow Kerrigan to obtain the power of the stag. Baghra sends this guard on a mission. Alina enters the secret changing room and the conductor is there, and much to my shock, he slits her throat, saying this is from General Zlatan. Genya walks in and tries to fight him. He shoots her, and then he's taken captive by palace guards. We learn that this actually is not Alina at all, but is actually Marie wearing Alina's face as a decoy. Kaz reveals that he devised that whole plan to reveal Arkin, the conductor, as a traitor. Arkin profited off of the fold, and Kaz knew that that was why he met with Zlatan. Alina being dead was in the best interest of Arkin's profits. Kaz and Inej try to swipe Alina, but the Darkling intervenes, bringing her her favorite flowers, which he only knows because of Mal, the scheming little shit. One of the Inferni twins is onto Kaz and Inej, so they decide to split up. Baghra's guard brings Mal to Baghra's cave, where she tries to kill him. He realizes that she's already murdered his fellow soldier Tofin that he came to the palace with, so he kills her before she can kill him. Kerrigan and Alina are about to bone in the war room when Ivan knocks and lets him know about the assassination attempt, so Kerrigan leaves Alina waiting in the war room. Baghra sneaks in through a secret door and leads Alina away, reveals she's Kerrigan's mom, she's a shadow summoner, the Darkling is the Black Heretic, and he created the Shadowfold. She also reveals that the Volcra used to be humans, but because of Alexander using the forbidden magic of Murzos, those people turned into the monsters that are now the Volcra. She tells Alina to wait in the tunnels until Baghra's loyal Grisha come find her, but Alina goes off on her own. Meanwhile, Kaz is being hunted down by the Inferni, who he gets into a brutal fight with, and then to save his life, Inej kills the Inferni. This is really hard on Inej because she's never killed anyone before. The Darkling, realizing Alina is not in the war room, goes looking for Mal, but instead runs into Baghra, who tells him she knows he's looking for Morozova's stag, and she has disposed of Mal. Turns out, Mal is actually literally right behind them and overheard that Alina is gone. Jesper, waiting for Inej and Kaz to bring Alina, sees Alina literally climb into the carriage herself. Nothing has ever gone so right before. Inej and Kaz walk up and Inej says, "She's real, Jesper. She made the light sing." Kaz says they lost Alina and Jesper says, "Did we though?" And they drive off together, Alina hiding in the back of the carriage, none the wiser. This episode is where I feel like there's a tipping point and the stakes are starting to get even higher, which I really loved. Let me know what your favorite moment was down below. Like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.